Hey everyone, what on earth is going on in the Seattle-Tacoma real estate market? It is so bonkers if you have looked at the news even once this year or last year or within the last 6 years. You're very well aware that things are a little bit crazy right now. So I figured it's about darn time that I sit down and make a video for you guys. And a little disclaimer for you, I have been sitting here kind of culminating all my thoughts and experiences, finding the appropriate grabs, and it finally dawned on me this is going to have to be a series. So this is part one. Today I want to talk about this low inventory thing. We've been hearing it a lot, and one of the biggest questions that I get a lot of the time are we in a housing bubble? Because quite frankly, the steep appreciation or increase of home prices that we have seen over the last 6 years is pretty baffling. And when you look at that on a graph, or when you feel the way that it feels now versus when it did back then, it feels very similar, or it looks very similar on a graph. You get a sharp incline like that. But the difference is the crash of 2008 was caused primarily due to subprime lending or predatory lending. Just this very off the wall, very unorganized. You didn't really need any kind of application to get approved. It was just kind of flying by the seat of your pants. And that caused great devastation. The reason why we are seeing the uptick right now is because of low inventory. So I want to pop into our grabs here. So what we're looking at right now is the home prices, or excuse me, the number of homes for sale back in 2019. Okay, we're gonna start a couple years ago and we're gonna work our way forward, because I really want you to get the whammy. We've been hearing shortage of inventory for so long, it becomes like the word unprecedented. It's just like, really, is it unprecedented, or is it today's news, right? So that being said, we started 2019 off and we had 2,876 homes. So just under 3,000 homes. And this is a pretty fair breadth of the market that we generally see most years. So, you know, things kind of start slow at the beginning of the year. We're still shaking off our tail feathers from the holidays. And then we get into the spring market. We're now into March, April, May, and a number of homes for sale start ticking up. And then we get into our summer market where it's beautiful. We get the most amount of listings. The flowers are blooming. The kids are out of school. This is fantastic time to put your house on the market and move. And then we start tapering off. We get into the fall market. It starts getting dreary and ugly again. And then we're bam, right back into the holidays. So this is a pretty fair breadth of the market. What you'll notice here is at the peak of the market, we had 4,700 homes on the market, right? 47 homes for sale. And what I will tell you is that was a very low number of homes at the time. I mean, this was maybe a 1 month supply, 2 months supply of inventory. And we'll get more into months of inventory a little bit later on. But essentially months of inventory means if everybody decided to stop selling their house tomorrow, how long would it take to sell all the houses on the market, right? And so a healthy market is about 4 to 6, or I shouldn't say healthy, I should say a neutral market is about 4 to 6 months of inventory, okay? And this was maybe like 1 or 2 months, if I remember correctly. So now we're gonna jump into 2022. No, 2020. Wow, okay. So what we're looking at here is we already start the year off significantly lower. So this is 2019. We started off with 2,800 homes. We're back in 2020. We have about 1,600 homes. So that's already 1,000, 1,200 homes less. But we still more or less have the same breadth of the market. We're looking at our light green line here, which is the homes for sale. And we can see that, yeah, you know, at the peak of the market, we had, let's say, 2,700 homes on the market. So, you know, we're still getting a good influx of homes, and, you know, that's what we really need. But, I mean, we're down. Our most populated month of the year is down 2,000 homes than it was the year prior. Now we're popping in, so this is the tail end of 2020 here and all of 2021, okay? So you can already see we start 2021 off with 1,100 homes on the market, and then we dip down. Oops, wrong way. But don't worry, our spring market comes in and we get a few more homes. But the most homes we had listed in all of 2021 was 1,800 homes on the market. And then we go into our typical fall and boom, it just plummets. And this is King County, I should say that. This is just for King County. If you want another video like this for Pierce County, I can absolutely put that together. So now what we're looking at is we're in November and we have just splat 724, but you're probably already ahead of me. We go down to 447, which is pretty bonkers. That is personally the lowest I have ever seen the number of homes on the market. And then as we start off the new year, we get a couple more listings. We're at 556. The updated numbers are not quite out because we're only about halfway through February right now. But luckily we've gotten some more listings. So we are at 585 so far for the month of February. So this just shows every single month, every single year, you keep hearing, right? Almost like unprecedented, over and over in your face. We keep hearing about the low inventory every single year. But this really goes to show that every single year it has been lower and lower and lower. Now this is that month of inventory that I was telling you about. So, and this is based on closed number of sales. Now remember, months of inventory is just if nobody else puts their home on the market, how long is it going to take us to sell every single home that's listed on the market? This is just another way to say absorption rate. And so you can see we've been hovering around just about 2 weeks. You know, sometimes we're down to, gosh, I don't know, 10 days, 7 days. So this is very, very low. Back in 2019, we at least had a month and a half, if not 2 months of inventory, and it just continues to be shrinking. This is absorption rate, if that makes more sense for your brain. So, you know, we are definitely absorbing significantly, absorbing the inventory significantly faster than we can put it on. Side note, a lot of people are like, how on earth can we buy more homes than are listed for sale? The short answer is a lot of these are new construction homes that you know, they're pre-releases, so they never made it on the MLS. They never made it technically on the market. They were just sold as a pre-sale lot, and then you got to watch your house being built. A lot of these are also off-market deals. There's a ton of people doing off-market deals. Maybe your neighbor is selling. They don't want to deal with putting it on the market. So that's kind of how we're getting these numbers. Luckily, we are back down from 457% down to just a healthy, you know, we're absorbing about twice as much inventory as we can put on. So that's fantastic news. So that is kind of an overview of why, or at least a better look at this low inventory, right? We've been hearing it for years, and it just becomes dull noise in the background at a certain point. So I hope that helps kind of exhibit or illustrate what is actually going on in our market. Now, my next video is going to be about why we can't physically build ourselves out of it, here specifically in Washington, and kind of going into the geography and everything like that. I do have multiple parts to the series, so if you're interested, go ahead and like, follow, subscribe, whatever makes you comfortable. And if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Drop those in the comments or send me a message. I'm more than happy to answer those questions for you. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.